My name is Buell Hawkins. I'm a retired member of the board of the Washington Apple Education Foundation, former owner of Valley Tractor, and also a former county commissioner. And another source of unrestricted funds that really helped out in the beginning and continues to help the foundation is golf tournaments. And I can share with you that I was involved in arranging the first golf tournament. It happened this way. Sherry Wyatt and her boyfriend at the time, and Don Heineke and I were playing golf up at Desert Canyon, and her boyfriend was an avid golfer. And of course, golf tournaments have been used to raise money for several different charities. And he suggested, hey, why don't you do a golf tournament? Well, the golf tournaments turned out to be a huge moneymaker for the foundation because it was a way for people that supported the industry, chemical companies, machinery dealers, to participate in the golf tournament, have some fun, and contribute some money. So the very first year we had our golf tournament at Desert Canyon, and then it grew from one at Desert Canyon to one here in Wenatchee area and one down in Yakima. And I'm guessing, I don't know this for sure, but I'm guessing we're probably generating somewhere in the neighborhood of about 150 grand a year in golf tournaments now. So that's a big contributor. And like I said, so you asked me how important unrestricted money is to you. I always felt that was the biggest job for me as a fundraiser and a friend raiser, because there was plenty of people who wanted to give scholarship money, but that had a designated recipient or designated class of recipients typically. But you needed money to be able to run the foundation or it would stop. And so I'm proud to have been involved in the two biggest unrestricted money raisers the foundation's ever had. So one of the things I've always enjoyed is attending the luncheons that hosted the scholarship recipients and their families. In fact, in the very beginning, Valley Tractor was one of the very first table sponsors, and I believe my successor, Dale Hall, has continued to not only support by buying a table at the luncheon, but also funds a scholarship at the foundation. But I always enjoyed meeting the recipients, hearing their stories, and basically being able to meet their parents and seeing how proud their parents were. Most of these scholarship recipients are first generation college students, and their parents may not even have a high school education, but education is extremely important to them, and they're so proud and so grateful that foundation is able to help their children go on and attend college and eventually receive a college degree. Over the 30 years of the foundation, obviously the foundation has grown and changed during that time. The mission statement, I believe, has been changed at least twice, four times. Okay, four times. And that's just as its role has evolved over time. Like I said earlier, initially we were focused on industry education, farm worker education, nutrition education, and scholarships. Scholarship was just one part, of a bigger whole. But now I think the foundation almost focuses 90% of its energy and resources on scholarships, which is very much needed. And those other functions or jobs are being filled by other parts and the foundation is doing something that I don't think any other organization could do as well as the foundation does, and that's to serve the young people who are trying to continue their education. Like I mentioned, I don't believe any other organization could handle the job of supporting college students, not only financially, but emotionally and physically, as well as the foundation does. Not only do they provide the money to sustain them, but they provide care packages, of which I've been a little part of. They provide counseling services, they provide help in writing scholarship applications. So it's a full service foundation for young people wishing to further their education. And like I said, I don't believe there's any other organization that does that, number one, or certainly would be in a position to do it as well. You asked me, what could the foundation do differently or perhaps do better, and I guess I go back to a saying that my dad taught me when I was little: son, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think the foundation is working really well to serve the needs of young people that are involved in the industry, or their parents are involved in the industry, but want to advance their education. So they do a great job there. And as far as trying to recruit other people to get involved in supporting the foundation, you can certainly serve as a contact at Hans von Sutherland and Greve, who was in management position with Semilt, and we wanted somebody from Semilt to be on the board. T.K. Matheson, the patriarch of Semilt, had been very involved in the foundation from the very beginning. And of course, now we receive money from the T.K. Matheson Memorial Golf Tournament that goes directly into scholarships. But we wanted somebody from Semilt on the board. After they were one of the biggest growers in state, certainly among the top three. And I approached Hans and asked him if he would serve, and his response, well, I don't know. I'm busy doing a lot of stuff, which is understandable. So I asked him this question. I said, well, Hans, what other way have you found to give back to the industry? And that got him. He didn't have a way to actually give back to the industry other than through serving his growers. And so if you were to ask him, he would tell you that's what got him to commit to being on the board for, I believe, 5 years, maybe even longer. And he continues to serve WAEF today as a member. One of my favorite memories, and it's a humorous one, happened down in Yakima at the Apple Tree golf tournament. I remember that Bill Douglas had been part of our playing group, and he had to leave early, and he wasn't going to be able to stay for the auction. So he walked up to me and he said, Buell, here, I'm going to sign a blank check for you, and I want you to buy some stuff, at the auction. Buy whatever you want, So I said, wow, you're giving me a blank check. And he says, yeah, I trust you. Buy whatever you want. And then T.K. Matheson, Tom Matheson, was with Bob Matheson and Hans and T.K., and I'm trying to remember who the fourth was, but T.K. wanted to get back to Wenatchee. It was a long drive from Yakima, so he saw Bill Douglas doing that. Of course, there's a strong association between the Douglas family and the Matheson family, as many of the viewers will recognize. And TK walked up to me and he says, what did Bill Douglas just do? I said, well, TK, he gave me this blank check and told me to spend it at the auction on his behalf. And he says, that's a great idea. It's a long drive back to Wenatchee. He wrote out a check and handed it to me. So here I had two pillars of the industry and had their blank checks to spend it on whatever I wanted to. On their behalf, although Bill said, get some stuff for yourself too. I kind of played that down, but I wanted to try and get stuff that the two of them or their organizations would benefit from. So I have to say that was one of the most humorous and powerful experiences I ever had, holding two blank checks in my hand.